This video is for 8th grade. This is going to be the notes for 8.5 for parallel lines and angle relationships. I'm also going to do a small portion of the homework on this for anybody that's struggling on it. So things that we need to define first, we talk about perpendicular lines. This is that lines that intersect at right angles. So a perpendicular line is my right angle. Those two lines, actually let me change that to blue right there. Those two red lines on there are perpendicular to one another. Parallel lines are two lines in a plane that never intersect or cross. So two parallel lines would be a straight line and a straight line that go on forever and do not cross. These others, we're going to define these as we go. So taking a look here at example 1, they give us a set of parallel lines right there and right there. And then our new big word for the day is this line right here. This is called a transversal. Transversal is a line that crosses two other lines. And for us, for the most part, they're going to be crossing through parallel lines. What I need you guys to know about these is we're going to look primarily at vertical angles, corresponding angles, and a few others. What I need you to know is we're going to take a look at angle 2 here first. I'm going to make up a number for angle 2 right now. I'm going to say that angle 2 is 30 degrees. Because of something called vertical angles, I know what angle 4 is going to be now. These two are vertical, meaning that they're directly across from each other. So angle 2 and angle 4 are vertical angles, and angle 4 is going to be 30 degrees. So angle 2, angle 4, these are identical. Because of some other rules that I'm not going to go into just yet, thanks to the parallel line, angle 6 and angle 8 are also going to be that 30 degrees. Now, angle 1, 3, 5, and 7, what I know about these, circle these real quick, I don't have a value for these yet, but all of those angles are going to be the same value. Looking here at just angle 1 and angle 2, I know that angle 1 combined with angle 2 make up a flat line. So these two together make up 180 degrees. I know angle 2 is that 30 degrees. So if I take 180 and I take away those 30 degrees of angle 2, I know that angle 1 is going to be 150 degrees. Because I know angle 1, I now know angle 3 is 150. Oh, that's a terrible 5 that I wrote. I know angle 5 is 150, and I know angle 7 is 150 degrees. Moving on to the next set of examples. Right here, these exercises, we're going to be working with this right here. I'm going to go through and I'm going to define each one of these angles, just so you guys have all of them. What they tell me here, it says if the measure of angle 3 is 64 degrees, determine each given angle's measure. So we know that angle 3 right here is going to be 64 degrees. Because of our vertical angles, the angles that are directly across from each other, angle 3 and angle 6 are both 64 degrees. Looking here at angle 5, they have a right angle listed there for us. So I know angle 5 is 90 degrees. And again, because of vertical angles, I know angle 2 is also 90 degrees. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a straight line using angle 3, 4, and 5. If I were to combine these angles, I get a full 180 degrees going across that straight line. So now I'm going to look at just 3, 4, and 5. If all of these angles add up to 180 degrees, I can take away angle 3, which is 64 degrees, and I can take away angle 5, which is 90 degrees. When I subtract these, I get 26. So I now know that angle 4 is going to be 26 degrees. And again, because of vertical angles, angle 1 and 4 are directly across from each other. So angle 1 is also going to be 26 degrees. Now I'm going to go over here to this side. Again, something I haven't quite defined in here yet, but we did talk a little bit about it. Angle 3 is going to be the same as angle 8 and angle 10 because of those rules I was talking about earlier. So I know that angle 8 is going to be 64 degrees and angle 10 is also going to be 64 degrees. Again, I'm going to make a 180 degree arc with 7 and 8. Thanks to that, I know that this arc is 180 degrees with 7 and 8 together. And if I take away angle 8, that's 64 degrees, I will know angle 7. So I'm going to do 180 minus 64, and angle 7 is going to be 116 degrees. And again, thanks to vertical angles, I know that angle 9 is also 116 degrees. So all I'm going to do now is I've got all these numbers, and I'm going to go through and fill out these exercises real quick. On number 1, angle 8 is going to be 64 degrees. Angle 10 is also 64 degrees. Angle 4, I can't see it very well, is 26 degrees. And angle 6 is also 64 degrees. That's all I'm going to be doing on this notes portion, but I'm going to go through a couple of the homework problems for you just to help you out. This is the homework section, but we are going to define a couple things on here because I forgot to go through this with you guys on the notes section. They give us our parallel lines that are right here. And so now I'm going to go define each one of these pairs of angles, 1 through 6, as either alternate interior, alternate exterior, or corresponding. Again, this line going through the center is called our transversal. So number 1 talks about angle 1 and angle 8. Angles 1 and 8 are on the outside of the parallel lines, and they are on alternate sides of the transversal line. Because they're on alternate exterior sides, we are going to call these alternate exterior angles. I'm going to label it AE for now, for alternate and exterior angles. Now I'm going to be looking at angle 5 and angle 7. Here's angle 5, here's angle 7. Because they are on the same side of the transversal line, and because they have the same angle, I know that these are going to be corresponding angles. On number 3, we are going to be looking at angle 3 and angle 6. So here's angle 3, and here's angle 6. They are on the alternate sides of the transversal line, and they are on the inside of the parallel lines. So these are going to be alternate interior angles. I'm going to label this AI for alternate interior. For angles 2 and 4, they are on the same side of the transversal line, and they are both the same angle. So angle 2 and angle 4 are going to be corresponding angles. For angle 2 and angle 7, so here's angle 2, here's angle 7. These two angles are on alternate sides of the transversal line, and they are on the inside of the parallel lines. So these are going to be alternate interior angles. And finally, I'm going to have to come up with a new color real quick. I'm going to go with gray because it was easy to get to. Looking at angle 4 and angle 5. Here's angle 4, and here's angle 5. They are on alternate sides of the transversal line, and they are on the outside of the parallel lines. So these are going to be alternate exterior angles. For the rest of these, on 7 through 12, they tell you that angle 4 is 122 degrees. So this angle right here is going to be 122 degrees. Now I'm going to clean up a lot of this real quick, if it will let me. Again, I know that angle 4 is 122 degrees, and here's your quick reminder that angle 4 and angle 7, angle 2 and angle 5 all are the same angle. Angle 3, angle 8, angle 6, and angle 1 are also the same angle. If I want to know any of the blue angles, I'm going to have to look at what they give me right here. That flat line is worth 180 degrees. If I want to know angle 3, I'm going to have to take away that 122 for angle 4. So if I do 180 minus 122, I know that angle 3 is going to be 58 degrees, and so will all of the other ones that I have circled in blue. You can take a look at just the back side for just a minute. On each of these, make sure you know whether they are the same or whether they are different. Again, I'm going to mark all of the same angles. So I know this one, that one, that one, and that one are the same because of the vertical angles. Those will be the same, and those will be the same. On number 16, again, vertical angles are going to be the same, and these vertical angles will be the same. These will be the same, and these will be the same. On number 17, none of those will be the same, but I know that these two angles together make 180 degrees. On number 18, this is a little bit harder to see, but these two angles together form a 90-degree angle. So I know that right here, I have a total of 90 degrees, and that's what I would need to find what angle B is. Again, on number 19, same kind of thing. We have these two angles forming 180 degrees together. So if I wanted to solve for B, I would need to take away this 23 degrees. And finally, on number 20, same kind of thing. These two both make up 180 degrees. I would have to take away the 128 in order to find B. If you have any other questions, please make sure you come to tutorials.